on a day-to-day basis. So mental health is real, and I just wanted to add that into mine. So that is also a part why I'm doing what I do, because the young people are our future, and they need to be aware of everything that they might be up against. And if they ever feel like they are being bullied, they need to be able to reach out and call for help. Because if you go back and look at it, suicide is one of the number one, right, reason why young people are leaving this earth.
Coach, you made mention of young people. When you're recruiting, this is our message and cry out to those parents out there, to the kids that are listening right now. What are you looking for in a young athlete that's coming to your program that wants to be a part of a Florida A&M?
Well, my first part is their character, because character is everything. I know about their ability. I cry as a great person, as a player, that I can develop a young lady if they have the tools. So I'm looking at their character. I want to understand, how it is if the coach pull them out the game, or they're there cheering on their teammates, or they're getting mad, or they're getting upset. I want to know everything. I want to know if they're going to be competitive. They're going to be, I like to say, the next play, because we all know we're going to make mistakes. That's what made Michael who Michael is. It's not how many times it's failed, it's how many times he was willing to get back up that he failed and he got back up. So I'm looking for all those intangible, that I can see the talent if you have the eye. I know the talent. I want to know everything behind it, the character. I want to go beneath the body, the face. I want to know what's inside the heart. Because if you look at my roster, I have a young lady that does not even stand 5 feet tall. And when I tell you her heart, you cannot measure her heart. I mean, she is a fan favorite because she gives it her all. I will go to war with her any day. So those are the intangible things that I'm looking for. And secondly, after I do the character piece and the eye piece, they have to be smart, first of all, as a student, because we are the number one public HBCU 7 years in a row. I want to give that out and let the young ladies know about Florida Agriculture and Mechanical University. So they have to be smart, intelligent young ladies to even come into the university. And then third of all, I'm going to recruit the parents, because the apple does not fall far from the tree, because I'm a disciplinarian, and I get that from Pat. One thing that my ladies are going to have is discipline, respect, and gratefulness. Those are my non-negotiables, because we are grateful to be in a position that we're in, and we have to give the respect that's due, and that's just everything that I stand for as the head, and I am a woman of Christ. So there are going to be moments that I talk and preach to them, not forcing them on anything, but I'm going to talk about my Christ and my faith. So I'm not saying they have to be a part of that. They just got to know who their head is, and that's who I'm driven by. That's the number one person that's in my life. But, when I'm going out, I'm spilling it all out. I'm a competitor. They look at the resume, but what they see is that you see a coach that loves them dearly, that I tell them, if I'm not getting on you, then there's a problem. And I don't cuss at them. I don't demean them. I don't get out of character. I just earn the respect, demand the respect, and tell them to trust the process. And I'm teaching the fundamentals and the inches and the details of the game.
Well, Coach Gordon, I tell you what, man, we certainly appreciate you coming on board here and allowing the Sportsvisions Nation to get to know you. We're looking forward to having you in town on Thursday, June the 4th. And again, that 6 p.m. program, and it's, of course, be brought to you by No Approval. And that's Pressure Mix Diamonds and, of course, the great Bridget Gordon. Thank you so much, Coach, and have a great rest of your morning.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
If it's local, it's on the Sportsvisions Morning Show with former Georgia Bulldog DJ Jones and Thrift Behringer.
Good morning. I'm Michelle Jennings, and here are your morning headlines. Columbus City Council has approved a new 5-year plan that allows the city to continue receiving millions of dollars in federal funding. The plan outlines how Columbus intends to address affordable housing, homelessness, and neighborhood revitalization. Meanwhile, the man charged for the death of 11-year-old Caden Harris appeared in court. That's where a Columbus police detective testified the shooting followed an arranged gun exchange that allegedly turned into a robbery. And in Troup County, a Louisiana man is in custody after reportedly firing shots at a passing vehicle on Interstate 85. This is an active investigation and charges are still pending. From WRBL News 3, I'm Michelle Jennings.
Good Wednesday morning. We are starting off with clouds and temperatures in the low 70s. Expect plenty of cloud cover this morning with more breaks of sun developing this afternoon and evening as highs reach the upper 80s. A stray shower or thunderstorm is possible this afternoon. Warmer weather returns later this week, and this weekend brings low to mid 90s with scattered afternoon showers and storms once again back in the forecast.
To get the full story, visit sportsvisions921.com and click on the WRBL tab. Sportsvisions 92.1.
If you're in the market for a pre-owned, like new vehicle, I've got more trucks than anybody. I've got more SUVs than anybody. And I've got cars as far as the eye can see. Please come see me at Bratton Automotive. Everybody's going to leave with a smile, and I stock them deep and sell them cheap.
Here's my friend Mike Gaiman, the president and CEO of Valley Rescue Mission.
The mission's been around for over 64 years, Bear. And some people know the mission because we are like a soup kitchen. We feed hungry people every day at 3 o'clock. We have homeless folks that come in and get a hot meal. Or they may know us because they make a donation to one of our stores so that we can resell those products to help our program. But the one thing that some people don't know is what we have as far as drug addiction recovery. We have 60 men and 20 women who are in our drug addiction recovery program. And that's a 9 to 10 month program. If you are out in the private sector trying to get in residence drug addiction program, it costs you about $6,000 a month because of donations, because of people who give to us. Because of that, we are able to have 80 men and women in our program, and the cost is zero to them.
To find out everything you need to know about Valley Rescue Mission, visit valleyrescuemission.org.
The only live and local sports morning show. It's the Sportsvisions Morning Show with Chattahoochee Valley Sports Hall of Famer DJ Jones and Thrift Barringer on Sportsvisions 92.1. Stay tuned. More local and national sports coverage next on the Sportsvisions Morning Show.
Welcome back to the Sportsvisions Morning Show. DJ Jones and Richard Holdridge in the building, broadcasting live from the P&B studios in beautiful Midtown Columbus, about a 40-yard dash away from the Aflac Tower. Big ups to, of course, Bridget Gordon and all the things that she has done on behalf of women in sports. Coming up in just a little bit, we'll have an opportunity to talk to a mighty fine coach up at Troup County, Tanner Glisson, who is the baseball coach and head football coach and has quite a program, Rich.
Yeah, he really does. We saw him in the state championship right here at Synovus Park. They were so close going back to back, and now he's getting ready for football season as Troup County's in another region. They are one of the top teams in their classification, and looking forward to seeing him take the field and coach football, as he's done a great job with baseball.
Rich, I want to ask you this question regarding, sports fans, not just in the United States, all over the country. Obviously, the spectacle of everything right now is the World Cup soccer in FIFA. And all eyes are on the most watched sport in the history of the country, and in the history of in the continent, to be honest with you.
World, yeah.
And with football season being right on the steps of the ending of the World Cup soccer, how many of those soccer fans do you think will spill over into American football, especially since the focus is here right now? They're getting a lot of the previews, a lot of the SEC and ACC and conference media days. The folks are seeing this on television, and they're getting it. They're being, I guess, if they hadn't been introduced to it, by being here in the country, they're being exposed. Do you think that that's a good thing for football in America, in the United States, American football, getting that spillage of Europeans that are here? That's, that maybe they've seen it for the first time. Maybe they are kind of like us with how we feel about our football, and then how we feel about their football, which is soccer. But my question again, do you think that this will benefit the American football community, whether that be the networks or the game period, because of the international flavor of FIFA?
I do. I'll give you an example, because in the country, we have all different types of regions, different types of sports fans. We love our professional teams and we love our college teams. especially in the South with the 8 World Cup matches right there at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. You also have the College Football Hall of Fame. There are some soccer fans that are curious, like, what is this American football and why is their college teams more popular than their professional teams in the South? And they're trying to study up on that, and they're trying to figure that out. If anything, they got that atmosphere at Auburn with that friendly with Argentina.
Yes.
And I think more in Atlanta than the other parts of the country. I think that in the San Francisco Bay Area or Seattle, they're really more into pro. Houston, they had some World Cup matches down in Houston. It's kind of a mixed bag, but definitely New York, they're more focused on professional teams. But I do like the fact that we have all these visitors from all over the world, and they are trying out stuff in this country. They're posting on social media about eating at Waffle House for the very first time. And, you see that Norwegian player that's he's in a country store, and he's got a cowboy hat on with cowboy boots, and he's posted on social media. Eric Holland, his name. I think it's fascinating, and I think the United States and Canada and Mexico did a fantastic job hosting this World Cup.
Now, this next question for you is something that should be pretty easy for you, since you do call our local professional hockey teams, soccer team, the Columbus United, and you also call high school games as well. Do you think that the World Cup tournament will definitely make more of an impact, a positive impact on bringing more players, more interest to the game on our high school and even our youth league level?
I do. I honestly think when the United States hosts the World Cup, I remember 1994 when they hosted for the first time, how soccer just took off. We started getting the MLS and people started playing it more and more. Still not as popular as other countries because it is their number 1 sport and it's our number 5 sport, in my opinion. But I do think that you're going to get that crowd, that the casual soccer fan that shows up every 4 years for the World Cup. You might get some investing interest, including, I'll take me for example. I might start paying more attention to like Christian Pulisic when he plays for his club team.
Yeah.
And kind of follow their career. But the most important thing, World Cup qualifying, which is going to start up next year.
Mm-hmm.
I think that I'm going to be focused on that because the goal is the 2030, but you also have the Euro Cup, you've got the Gold Cup, you got the CONCACAF Confederations Cup. So you have other tournaments that is not the World Cup that is, in another year, like the even years is when the Euro has. But if you're a soccer fan, this is what you do. This is what you love. My nephew, stays up at 3 a.m. watching English Premier League. I mean, those are those soccer fans, but I love the MLS. So I'll be watching Atlanta United when they're back in action, which they'll be back in action this week. And so I honestly think that it's a beautiful game. We are huge sports fans. We're passionate about football, baseball, and basketball. I would like to see us get passionate about soccer, but if you're a casual fan, it's going to take some time.
Now, here's a good question that I think is definitely relevant to you because you get to put your daddy cap on a shoe. You're father of 2 young girls. And the fact of the matter is that with this soccer phenomenon that has come over with FIFA, we oftentimes hear about the cost of equipment to play baseball and football and softball. But soccer, it probably is unless somebody tells me something different, it's probably the least expensive sport to play if your kids want to play, and should be, from the exposure, something that you might push your kids to do because you don't have to buy bats and helmets and gloves and cleats and spikes and shoulder pads and helmets. I mean, you can just, other than getting a good pair of shoes and, of course, short pants and jerseys and uniforms that come. But, I mean, soccer, that gives you a reason, too, for financial sake.
Yeah, the only equipment we had to buy were the soccer ball, the cleats, the soccer socks, which are the long socks that actually go over the shin guards, and then, of course, shin guards. But if you really want to get fancy, you can go out and get goals and put them in your backyard, and you can
No, I'm trying to keep it affordable. Keep it fair. We're talking about just fans being exposed that didn't know anything about. Now, are they going to be pushing their kids? Will this be, because again, it's less expensive than going out and buying $300 or $400 worth of football, little league football equipment, or or $300 or $400 worth of little league equipment. I mean, versus maybe $100, $150, $200 worth of soccer gear.
It's an affordable sport. The leagues that we have here, CYSC, Concord Fire South, the fees to actually go into the league is pretty affordable. And we're actually not doing soccer this year, but in the past we have gone to Woodruff Farms, which, by the way, the parking is crazy there, and dropping the kids off at soccer practice and then going to the soccer matches. And it's been, that's what we did on Saturday mornings. Like, all the games were like on Saturday mornings. I think the latest game we ever had was noon, but it started becoming a tradition. And I know that soccer's big in this city because of the youth leagues that we have. And a lot of the high school soccer players are on club teams. And of course we got Columbus United. So it's growing. And I think that we do have some soccer talent in this city. And we even have a player that played in the Major League Soccer. DJ, I don't know if a lot of people didn't know that.
Yeah, that's great. That's wonderful. Who is that?
Marshall Leonard. He played for Shaw. And he actually played for the New England Revolution in the MLS.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Now, I know that when we're talking about being affordable, athletic directors in high schools and middle schools, and as well as they have to be excited about soccer, because again, they get that push. They don't have to worry about and again, obviously the athletic directors at each individual school, they're the ones that have to, and the principals, they're tasked to worrying about paying for the new helmets and the shoulder pads and all the refurbishing that goes on with all that heavy equipment that they have versus the soccer programs. I'm wondering, and I'm gonna try to keep up it. And I know that since you call it, hopefully you'll keep your eyes on it as well to see if the enrollment or the involvement of the soccer experience will go up because of the World Cup and this experience here recently on the high school level.
Yeah, I hope so too. I think that we have got great soccer participation. We have some outstanding soccer teams at the high school level that have won state championships. And then, of course, having Columbus United FC, the USL2, which is a team that consists of collegiate soccer players and also some semi-pro soccer players. I think it's great having something like that in this city. And I know that indoor soccer failed. People have got to understand that's a completely different sport. But it was nice when it was here, and it kind of got that soccer buzz back in this city. Because you talk to people that, I would say that the people that originally were playing soccer here in this city back really during your time, DJ, J.D. Hester comes to mind.
Yes.
Somebody that was playing soccer maybe a little bit after you, but Michael Hitchcock, these are the owners of Columbus United, but they loved soccer so much that they wanted to bring a professional soccer team here to Columbus.
All right, before we go to the break, I want to give a big shout out to Jovar Rakestraw for tuning in and getting a seat in the front row of the Sportsvisions Morning Show. Bobby Brown, as we always have, he's always there. Stanley Crowell, thank you. Good morning. Ricky Rogers, we appreciate you. And Rodney Lawrence, thank you so much. You guys have front row seats in the Sportsvisions Morning Show. Hey, look, we'll take a short break. When we come back, we're going to hear from Tanner Glisson, the all-world coach up at Troup County. He has a hell of a program up there, guys. Yeah. And if you don't know him, you're going to get to know him next on the Sportsvisions Morning Show.
Stay tuned. More local and national sports coverage next on the Sportsvisions Morning Show. Sportsvisions 92.1.
This is Michael Bratton at Bratton Automotive. I want to tell you about something that's near and dear to my heart. That's my sales team. They have been around me my whole entire life, and I trust them with everything I own. I want you to feel the same way. Come meet my sales staff. They have over 100 years of combined automotive excellence, and that's something you won't find anywhere. Shop us today at BrattonAutomotive.com or shop us in person, where everybody leaves with a smile.
Gotta get to Gills Auto Sales. We can finance you. Got to get to Gills. Selection and price. Got to get to Gills. Gotta get to Gills.
Happy 40th anniversary to Gills Auto Sales. This will be a year-long celebration with inventory and deals like you haven't seen in a long time. Every lot in Gills' lineup is stocked with a car, truck, or SUV that you've been dreaming about. Hey, want to save more than ever before on the vehicle of your dreams during the 40th anniversary celebration? You gotta get to Gills.
Let's have some straight talk. Are you sick of being trapped in a title pawn or just need a loan? Call 1-800-NEW-RATE. If you're in a title pawn trap, we can get you out. We save you thousands in interest. We lower your payments, possibly cut your payments in half, and you get up to $1,000 in extra cash. That's $1,000 extra cash. And your first payment's not due for up to 45 days. Call 1-800-NEW-RATE at 1-800-899-6669. It's fast, it's easy, and you can get approved right over the phone and get your check today. Do you need to pay off that high-interest title pawn loan? Then call right now to 1-800-899-6669. Call 1-800-NEW-RATE at 1-800-899-6669. Did I mention you can get up to $1,000 in extra cash? That's 1-800-NEW-RATE. Get approved right over the phone and get your check today. Call now to 1-800-899-6669. Motors Acceptance Corporation, doing business as 1-800-NEW-RATE. Georgia Installment Lender License. NMLS number 1943997.
The Herd with Colin Cowherd, 12 to 3 on Sportsvisions 92.1. Now back to the Sportsvisions Morning Show. Here's Carver Tigers legend DJ Jones and Thrift Behringer.
Coach Tanner Glisson in the building. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good, guys. What a great day the Lord has made, baby. DJ, I want to see you 40 times. You're speaking of 40 times. Let's go, baby.
Yes, sir. Once upon a time, 4-4 was something else, but right now, 6-4 is maybe closer to the realization of it all.
Hey, if you like me, you're just glad to get out of bed in the morning.
Absolutely, Coach. I love your energy. I love your positivity. I love the way you motivate us. And, of course, you know, you're helping a lot of people get up this morning. But I hate that. And it's not a damper because if I didn't have to or if I didn't want to, I wouldn't ask you this question. But I was on Facebook the other day, and I saw some nonsense about, you know, one of your star players not having an opportunity to participate in something. And all I know is this kid is committed to Navy, and he has a 4.5 GPA. What the hell is going on up there?
Well,
like on
DJ,
Tuesday,
you know, it's kind of a touchy subject. You know, I hate to elaborate on it too much, but it was a kid that transferred to us from another school system. And a lot of times these schools, and my wife's a principal down at Long Cane Middle School, so a lot of times these feeder schools will allow kids to come back regardless of what high school that they're at and do like a walkthrough in their cap and gown and that kind of stuff. So this kid is graduating from Troop High School, but he attended another school district in middle school and elementary school. So he went back there to do a senior walk, and there was some miscommunication, and so he was not allowed to do a senior walk in that other district. You know, so but I hate to speak on it just because it's somebody else's district. That didn't happen in Troop County. It was a totally another district, and but I can tell you this guy's a fine young man. I can tell you that he's going to serve our country at the Naval Academy, and so we're really, really proud of him.
Well, you know what? I knew that you could actually straighten this out because, again, just the way it was out there, Coach, I knew that you could put it in the back in perspective, and thank you for doing that. Thank you so much. Hey, man, listen, you don't play till Saturday, I believe, and the bottom line.
Hey, we're coming to Columbus, baby.
Absolutely. Yeah, man. Have you seen that part?
I have not. You know, I think the last time, heck, I was down there, it might have been the Mudcats. And so it's been a while, but there's been a lot of people on our staff and our players and our fans that have seen it, and they just rant and rave about how wonderful a place it is. You know, last year we were in Rome, and we thought that was really nice. And I was told if you thought Rome was nice, you wait till you see this. And so we're extremely excited about being in Synovus Park.
Tanner, I cannot wait to see you there. Me and my crew actually get to broadcast that game in Synovus Park. So we were cheering you on last week with Peach County. Let's talk about that dominance. You were able to sweep them, man. Talk about what was going through your team's mindset and kind of handle business in that first game, 15-5. Second game, a little bit closer, but Coach, team's playing their best ball heading in the state championship series.
Well, I can tell you this. Georgia High School did us absolutely no favors with the bracket being the number one overall seed. Having to go through Cherokee Bluff, who we beat last year in the state championship game in round 2. Then we had to play an extremely good North Hall team in round 3. And then we got a Pickens team that was 34-4. The saving grace is that we were able to play at home. You know, that's the big deal. We have a great environment here. I'll throw a crazy statistic out to you guys, but we have not lost a home state playoff series in 6 years since I've been here. And
Wow.
so it's like 11 straight series that we've won at home in the playoffs. And we call it the jungle because at night it gets rowdy around here. Our fans love it. And but that Peach County team's a really, really great team. Next year, that'll be a region game for us. So that's going to be unique. But those guys do a fantastic job. This is a second year in a row they've been to the Final Four. So they had a tremendous team. We were able to jump out on them in game one. We had 21 hits in game one, which is just like unheard of in the Final Four in high school baseball. And then in game two, it was a lot closer. Chase Mosley got on the mound for us, and we had a 3-run lead going into the seventh. He gave up a 2-run homer in the seventh, and then he just buckled down and struck out the next two and sent us on to the state championship.
Coach Davis Monkus, he has been the table setter. He set the school record for the most hits in his career. Talk about how important it is to have a guy that frequently gets on base, able to manufacture runs by stealing bases and being able to become that table setter.
Yeah, Davis is, like you said, he broke the school record for hits to 61. He also broke the doubles record in the season. He was just out at TCU this past weekend. He's got a full baseball offer to go to TCU. I don't know if he's going to take that or not. We're still waiting. I know he was on the phone with Vanderbilt yesterday at practice. But he's just an athlete. He is just a dynamic player in football and baseball. He's our game 3 starter. He's our closer out of center field. He'll come close the games out of the bullpen. He hits in the 3-hole for us. He's baseball savvy. I'm glad we got him for one more year after this year, baby, because he's a good one.
Tanner Glisson is our guest this morning on the Sportsvisions Morning Show, and Coach Glisson is the baseball coach and getting ready for the playoffs, but he is also the football coach in his spring training. Speaking of spring training, Coach, I know that you eloquently described or explained to us once upon a time that how great and gifted a staff that you have in football, so you can kind of walk away. But, realistically, you could tell this is me, Thrift, and Richard here. Tell us, how many times you walked over to watch practice? Football practice?
Just a couple times. I got to put my eyes on things. But in all honesty, this staff, football staff, next year we're going into our 12th year here at Troop High School, and almost every person on our staff has been here at least 10 years. And it's a place that people come, that they enjoy the environment. I don't pay them a whole lot, so I don't know why they stick around. But I guess it's just the fact of, number one, we've got a great culture. We don't.
Uh-oh. They got him. I mean, it happens.
He must have got a phone call.
He'll get back. Yeah, that's exactly what happened. But
there he is.
Back. If these college recruiters would leave me alone for a minute, we can get some talking done. And we got such a great culture. I know that we're about middle of the road as far as paying supplements. But I try to create such an atmosphere that's a family atmosphere, that these coaches can have a family life outside of football. We got great talent, so we're going to have a chance to win. And I think that's what keeps these coaches sticking around. And but these coaches do a fantastic job. They know how to run things without me even talking about it, just because they've been with me so long. J.C. Copeland and those guys do a fantastic job. We went up to scrimmage Noonan on Friday night, and we tied 14-14. We played the first half varsity, so it was tied at the end of the half 14-14. We were minus 10 starters due to baseball. And then the young bucks were able to come in and play the second half. And we ran 2 8th grade running backs with the varsity in the first half. And guys, when I tell y'all these 8th grade running backs are going to be special, they are special. We've had a couple of Division I schools come through here and give them scholarship offers already as 8th graders. And so we're tickled to death about what's coming.
I'm excited about it, Coach, for you. Back to baseball, though. You've had about a week layoff. You don't play until Saturday, and then you don't play till Saturday night, just in case that the Class A Division I series has their if game. So how's the week of preparation leading into it, and how excited are you the fact that you're only 45 minutes from LaGrange, man? I'm hoping there's going to be a pro Troop County crowd and Novus Park, baby.
Well, the first thing is the layover does worry you, because baseball, you got to stay in a routine.
Right.
So we scrimmaged yesterday, and it went really, really well. We were scheduled to play on Friday, but because of our graduation Friday night, we're moving that thing to Saturday. We got a 10:30 Zoom with Georgia High School this morning, so I'll get more details. So y'all check back on my Facebook page, and I'll shoot out as many details as we possibly can. But to be down in Columbus, our folks travel as good as anybody in the state of Georgia. They are going to be there. They're going to pack that place out. It's going to be rowdy, and we're just super excited. Our guys tend to feed off of that. They're the biggest and the biggest of moments, and I think that's kind of the football aspect of baseball for us. Our guys have been in so many big football games that they relish those moments. The bigger, the tougher, the better it is, the more they seem to show up and play well. So we are tickled to death to be 40 minutes down the road. I mean, it makes us really, really happy.
Coach, you play Pickens, which is a rematch of the semifinal. And I know a little bit about Pickens. They're over in Jasper, Georgia, and their fans are going to be traveling all the way down to Columbus to try to pack that place out as well. You're very familiar with Pickens. They've had a great year. What team came back this year compared to the team that you faced in the semifinals from last season?
Yeah, we played them last year in the semifinals, as you said, here at home.
Doggone it. We went, we lost him. He's moving around. But anyway, he'll
trying to get his
rejoin us.
internet
Absolutely
restored.
Yes, there. Indeed. But again, you can just tell from just the first few minutes, obviously, just a bundle of joy, a bundle of energy, very energetic guy.
There you are, Coach.
Hey, y'all still. Hey, just let your audience know anytime you have me on, they got to be on standby. Things go crazy up here in Troop County. But going back to Pickens just real quick, we played them in the Final Four last year. They've got a tremendous squad, man. They brought everybody back. They got 2 transfers that transferred in that start for them that are really good. They got A.J. Rice, who's going to Auburn, the pitcher. A.J.'s 95, 96 with his fastball. So he's really, really outstanding pitcher. We had a thought that this might come down to Troop and Pickens. We truly feel like these are the 2 best teams in the state, and it's a good thing that we're matching up in the state championship game.
Coach, let's let us know if you got to go, man. We understand. I mean,
baby, I'm here for y'all, baby. I got y'all blocked off. If everybody will stop calling my phone, we'll be all right.
I got you. Now, we've been talking about everybody else, your players, and of course your staff. But hey, what about the man? We're a guy that's successful. You're the head guy. You're the face of this doggone, of this doggone program. You in a lot of cases. You're more, I guess, in just, I won't say more important, but just as important as the doggone mayor of the city. So where does Coach Glisson go when he needs some inspiration, when you need some pick-me-up?
Well, the first thing is, DJ, that I appreciate all the compliments, but number one, you got to know how to stay in your lane, right? We got a principal here that does a tremendous job. Obviously, our superintendent. It's very easy to start kind of getting a big head and start trying to make decisions about other things that are not in my lane, right? And so the biggest deal is I try to be a servant leader. I'm here to do whatever I can to help Troop High School and our school system. That's the number one thing. And but I don't hunt, I don't fish, I don't play golf. So it's football, it's baseball, and it's family. Actually, I'm scheduled to take a beach trip next week. That's the Georgia High School Dead Week. And I'm going to turn my phone off. There won't be any interviews next week, gentlemen. So I'm going to just chill, kind of reset myself because we got to get ready to go to football practice on June the 1st.
Coach, let's talk about that recruiting process. We got a lot of young people listening. We got a lot of parents listening. You talk to D1, D2, D3, NAI. It doesn't matter the level. College recruiters, what are they looking for in a young man? You pretty consistently, all of them, when they're trying to get them to come to their school?
Well, the number one thing is, are you tough? Are you physically tough? Are you mentally tough? A lot of times I speak back to those 8th graders. We had, I think we had close to 90 schools come through here this recruiting cycle. And, a couple of those guys wanted to offer a couple of those 8th grader guys. And so they spoke with me about it. But, we've kind of been through some situations where we've had 8th graders get offers before and really kind of hindered their growth process.
Right.
That's so far away, man. And the big deal is what a lot of these parents don't understand is you have offers and then you have committable offers. That is 2 totally different worlds that people don't understand. One of them is good for clicks and likes on Facebook and Instagram, but, they're not committable. That just means, hey, we want to date you. We want to get to know you, which is great. It's flattering, but the biggest deal is that's not even a committable offer, not when you're 14 years old, and even, and a lot of these juniors and seniors get non-committable offers, so you got to kind of pump the brakes a little bit when it comes to recruiting. My biggest thing is this. Number one, put your kid in a program where, there's fruit coming out of that program, where that program has shown time and time again that they're going to prepare your kid for the next level. And then let that process just take place. Just relax, support the kid. Look, I will tell this to parents. Allow your kid to fail. Allow your kid to fail. You got to trust the process. And I know that's a cliche, but you need to do your homework. You need to trust that the coaches at your school are going to do the right thing and they're going to coach them hard, but there's going to be a lot of failures. There's no growth without failures. And we're going to be there to pick them up, to brush them off. But I say all the time is this. Here's what we do at Troop High School, okay? This is a secret. We're not just trying to get you offers and scholarships. We're trying to have you prepared day one to step in and play at that university.
Amen.
There's a huge difference in that now. I mean, there's some kids that go to school and just don't make it because they're not prepared. Whether they've been pampered or whether they didn't put in the work or maybe they wasn't in a program that, here at Troop, because we got so many dudes, it's kind of iron sharpens iron. It's kind of like Carver Columbus down there. I mean, you get those jokers on the football field, man, and there's dudes everywhere, right? So you better not be half stepping, and so that's the big deal, And look, now I'm not saying that as a promo to Troop. There's other great programs out there too. Yeah. But as parents, you just gotta do your homework. But then once you do your homework, you gotta let coaches coach. And and I think we have the respect of our community here that our parents let us coach.
Before I let you go, man, the word on the street was that there was a negotiation between the spring game between Carver and, of course, Troop, but you guys couldn't come up with a financial settlement to make it even.
Well, the big deal, DJ, is when me doing baseball is very, very tricky up here because we're not at full strength in the spring. And we have done this spring game with Chip Walker up at Noonan for the last 8 years. And we do it at his place every year because, number one, it takes pressure off of me having to get the stadium ready when I'm playing baseball. And true, DJ, us and Noonan we're not trying to out-scheme each other in the spring. We're trying to let these young kids play. We're not worried about the scoreboard. So it's just a great partnership with us and Noonan. Maybe us and Carver will get together in a real game soon. Maybe that next cycle. And we would love to do that because they do a tremendous job. We've been in the same region many, many times. And but that relationship in the spring just works really well for us and Noonan.
Coach Glisson, man, as always, we appreciate you, man. Good luck. And, hey, look, you have a great rest of your morning.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, do it to him, gentlemen. Let's go, baby.
All
See
right,
y'all
buddy.
in Columbus.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Hey, it's Dan Patrick. Thanks for making us your home for local, regional, national sports talk in the Chattahoochee Valley. This is Sports Visions 92.1.
Welcome back to the Sports Visions Morning Show. DJ Jones and Richard Holdridge in the building. Richard, I don't know about you, but Tanner Glisson just has it, man. He has that motivational factor that you just, you hear him talk, and again, most leaders that you hear, and I don't know, maybe it's me, but I love a guy that can really, it doesn't matter what he says, it's how he says it. And he shows enthusiasm, and if he shows positivity, and if he shows just encouragement in his voice and in the way he delivers in his presentation, that picks me up. I get excited. I don't give a damn if he's telling you the wrong thing. You just want to make sure that you have the right mind frame, and when you got a leader that's that at least acts like he believes.
DJ, I don't do this that often, but I'm going to make a parallel to my military career.
Yeah,
because I've had leaders, commanders, first sergeants from all walks of life. I've had leaders that I'm willing to go to battle with and leaders that I didn't trust. Let me tell you something. Tanner Glisson, if he was a company commander in the military, I would want to go to battle for him.
That's what I'm talking about.
Inspirational. He could fire a team up, and his team will go to battle for him. And that's what's great about Coach Tanner Glisson and what he means when it comes to Troop County.
Now, of course, he has great, baseball and football acumen, but he has leadership acumen. And again, sometimes, you can know everything you need to know, X's and O's as a leader, as a coach. But then if you don't know how to present it, if you don't present it in a way that picks up, the boys or girls or the men or women that you're leading. I mean, that's, again, the difference between, I think, a lot of the winning programs and a lot of the programs that are not so successful.
Yeah, no question about it. And we're excited about upcoming football season as he gets ready to take the Troup County Tigers out to another reclassification. They start that season. He'll be here before you know it. We'll have media days in a couple of weeks, and then it's go time.
Another exciting interview coming up here on the other side in just a few minutes is that one of the most decorated NBA referees that we've probably seen in our lifetime. His name is Derek Stafford, and he hails from Atlanta, Georgia. But Derek has been called some of the great games with, as far as the Olympics, as well as some of the NBA finals. He's been on the court with some of the greats of the game. But he's going to be on to share his experience and share his stories with you. I know that oftentimes, we don't get an opportunity to talk to any referees that are NBA referees in particular, because the NBA has a pact that they don't like their referees to be entering, or commingling with the media. Yeah. I'll put it that way, because we also have a homeboy, Eddie Rush, who is another decorated, NBA referee, who obviously he's retired, but he's still working as far as in management with the NBA and their referees. He does a lot of the evaluations, but I've been trying to get Eddie on for years because he hasn't had his flowers and he deserves them as well. But guess what? We're going to use Derek and go through and then to show the greatness of NBA referees and everything that they're all about.
Yeah, can't wait for that interview. Just a great interview, and just to reflect back on his refereeing career in the NBA.
All right, coming up in just a little bit, Derek Stafford, former NBA referee who's taken on some new challenges in life. He's a golfer, and he's also made golfing a new career for himself.
Nice.
All right. Hey, don't go anywhere. You're watching Facebook Live as well as YouTube, and you're listening to WLTC HD2, Sports Visions 921. We are your hometown sports guys.
Hey, it's Dan Patrick. Thanks for making us your home for local, regional, national sports talk in the Chattahoochee Valley. This is Sports Visions 92.1.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Garey's Furniture Express, your express way to saving.
Did you know that Garey's Furniture Express sells rugs? They do, and they have all colors and sizes for every room in your home. You can get a 5x8, an 8x10, and even room size 12x15, and they've got hundreds to choose from. And that's only at Garey's Furniture. You're going to love this place. Alabama Highway 169 in Opelika.
WLTC HD2 Casita and W221DP Columbus. You're listening to the Sports Visions Morning Show. Sports Visions 92.1. Your home for the Dan Patrick Show, 9 to 12 on Sports Visions 92.1. Now back to the Sports Visions Morning Show. Here's former Green Bay Packer DJ Jones and Trip Berringer.
He's not a stranger to many folks. Obviously, those of us who have been NBA fans and sports fans for a long time. Derek Stafford is a former NBA official, a referee, if you will, over 30 years in the business. Of course, he's a former athlete, a Morehouse man. I mean, this guy has done a lot of things, and I'm really excited and pleased to be able to bring to the Sports Visions Nation this morning, or introduce to the Sports Visions Nation, Derek Stafford. Good morning, sir. How you doing?
Good morning, guys. How are you?
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you for waking up with us on the Sports Visions Morning Show, man. Listen, I know you're a busy man, but, man, I got to tell you, what jumps off the page is that, that we see your face, but now a lot of us that are a little older in the tooth, we remember those great NBA contests and those championship games, those calls when some of the greats and had the respect for you. And, again, man, all of this from a guy from Atlanta, Georgia, out of Morehouse College, man. Did you have to pinch yourself at times, Derek?
You know, it's been a great journey. You know, I first have to give God the honor and the praise, and I'm very thankful for the opportunities that were presented to me. Yeah, I never, even when I was in college, I never dreamed of refereeing in the NBA. Didn't know I would ever get a tryout in baseball. I didn't know any of this stuff. So I just kept grinding, and I'm very thankful.
Good deal. Good deal. Now, what we do on this show is that I give you an opportunity to kind of go back down memory lane for the benefit of those who don't know you. And there are a few that might not know, might be a little younger. But I like to let you take the wheel and give us an executive summary of, you know, where you're from, who poured into your life, some of the inspirational moments, and some of the times in the time that you knew that it was, you know, you were special. So I'll let you do that. Let's go back and start at the very beginning to where you grew up and where you went to school.
You know, another thing, I really appreciate the time in which I was raised, especially looking back. I mean, I was born right across from Lenox Mall. Most people don't know this. It was a little small neighborhood called Johnsontown, and it was pretty much two dirt roads. Marta eventually bought the property. It put in the frame of mind of sharecropper land, that maybe some of the slave owners felt sorry for the black slaves when they were free and gave them this property, which ended up being very valuable for a few neighborhoods. From there, I moved to Northwest Atlanta, went to W.J. Scott Elementary, was supposed to go to Archer High School, but then my mom decided, this was like the second year of integration, she decided that we would go to Northside. So my brother was there the first year. I ended up going there the second year. So that was quite an experience. Growing up in Atlanta, growing up in the South, I never really faced any hardcore racism. You knew it was there. You know, we just lived in our neighborhood. We didn't really go too many places. I'm sure our parents had to feel some of the stress when they drove here and there to try to do certain things. But growing up in Atlanta was special. I love it. And I'll never criticize my city, and don't plan on leaving. And I'm glad that I had an opportunity to see firsthand integration and to see that the other kids were just like me. They didn't know anything. They weren't any different from me. They didn't know anything different from me. And we accepted each other, and we made it from there.
Derek, unlike other sporting leagues, the NBA has full-time officials. Talk about the benefits of having full-time officials compared to part-time officials, and what does it mean just to have those meetings to make sure that the game is officiated according to the rules, and just that benefit of just knowing the game inside and out because you have full-time officials?
Yeah, being full-time, you know, that's your job, that's your career, that's where you focus. You know, you have a little bit of time to do some other things if you choose, but you're a full-time official, you totally focus, you focus year-round, you're not just focused during the season. When I was in the program, we refereed every summer. We had some great summer leagues. That's where I met Sam Mitchell for the first time. That's where I met Dominique for the first time, refereeing in the Pro-Am, because those guys came back and played in the summer league because everybody was working on their game. I don't think it's quite the same now. You know, everybody's got individual trainers, guys doing their things. Referees don't work in the summer like they used to, so I don't know how they get better, because in the summer I would work on the little things that I thought that it would take to make me a better official, especially at the end of the year if I got a report saying, hey, you need to work harder off ball, or you need to make sure your signals are better so that people can understand, even if the PA people don't announce. So things like that you will work on in the summer that you couldn't necessarily work on during the season. So full time was very important for basketball. Plus we have so many games, it's hardly any way around it.
Derek, I feel like I should know you because obviously I spent time in Atlanta with you spending so much time at Burdette Gym on the south side. Obviously down in College Park was a place in the summer league, so or that a lot of the NBA players and former and all professional athletes, we used to go back and play down there. And again, from Drew Hill to Dominique Wilkins and again Sam Mitchell, all of those guys used to go down there and play. Eddie Rush is a former mate of mine. We competed at an opponent league together. But getting back to you in the beginnings, I want to peel back the layers so that people can understand that, you know, here this guy who has accomplished so much greatness in something that we seems that an untouchable as far as, you know, NBA and all the lights and all the cameras. But you also were an athlete, and a damn good one at that.
Yeah, I was fortunate. I look back and I laugh now because my mom started me in elementary school when I was 4. And I said, dang, man, I wish she had started me when I was 5. That would have given me an extra year to be a little bit bigger, stronger, faster, and that might have helped my career. But I made some mistakes in high school. You know, I decided I was going to give up football to play basketball, and then that didn't work out. You know, back then, even if you argued with a JV coach, you might get in trouble. So
that's right. Yeah.
But I love sports. I played baseball was my number 1 sport. Even when I worked in the summer doing landscaping, I would still go home in time to change, go to practice. Didn't miss a game. I did not miss playing baseball until I quit playing at the age of 33. Played every summer when I was in high school, every summer when I was in college. So that was my favorite sport. And it's a lot of work. I mean, if you want to be good at it, as you know, you got to put the time in, you got to put the effort in. And then at Morehouse, I decided I could say, okay, well, let me resurrect my total career. So I went there. My brother went there his freshman year. So I went there, played football and baseball. And I was fortunate enough, I made second team all conference, 2 years in football. Was first team all conference, 3 years in baseball, most valuable player, led the conference in hitting. So I ended up having a great career. I didn't have, we didn't have mentors back then like we do now. And I just wonder if I'd had an older guy or older coach to take me under his wing and say, hey, Derek, do it this way, do it that way. Hey, make sure when you communicate this way. I think that would have helped me to become a better player. And that's what got me into coaching. I coached baseball in Atlanta probably for about 30 years. And Brandon Boykin was one of my players that I coached for a long time who ended up going to University of Georgia. I was happy about that. I was encouraging him as well to go to Georgia because I always loved Georgia. So I've been around some good athletes, Dwight Smith Jr. I saw some guys play when they were 11, 12 years old, ended up making it to the majors, Donovan Shields and his family. So I gave back as much as I could. And I love sports. There's no question about that.
Yeah, my next question is that because, as you know, as an athlete and growing up playing multiple sports and being pretty good at it, you don't think about one day coaching or much less refereeing. At what point in time as a young man did you think about the opportunity of pursuing, refereeing basketball?
It's at Morehouse, of course, when I was there, and I don't know exactly how much has changed, but back then I knew a little more than I know now. We had 2 young coaches. They weren't getting paid a lot of money, but they were very, very dedicated, worked extremely hard to try to get us to be the best athletes that we could be. And both of them, to make money on the side, officiated basketball and football. And one of them did basketball and football and baseball. So they knew I did landscaping every summer. So they was like, man, you ought to think about just doing some officiating just to make some money in the summer. They never said it to me, but I knew in the back of their mind, they were like, man, this dude out in this hot sun, 8 hours a day in the summer, cutting grass, doing this all summer. Then you got to come to practice 2 a day, 3 a day, heat. And so I think from that perspective, they felt a little sorry for me and they talked to me about officiating. So the first game I officiated was with my football coach. And we went out to a gym out in Decatur Boys Club. And that's when I fell in love with it. Part of it was me and him working together, trying to get the plays right, dealing with the players, and then to run up and down the court. It was good exercise. So at that point, I fell in love with officiating basketball.
Derek, the NBA implemented a rule back in 2004 that you could not hand check anymore, otherwise it'd be a foul. Just talk about how the game has changed from that. We've seen the NBA has increased offense, but the game is completely different, and we have 2 different eras of basketball because of the hand check rule. Just talk about the impact that had.
Yeah, hand checking had a major impact. Those guys, they were strong. It didn't appear that they were strong, but they were very strong, and they were able to use their hands to direct a player. They were able to use their hands to slow a player down. So we had to take hand checking out of the game because everything else was so physical. Everybody had a center, everybody had a power forward, so everybody had a low post game as well as the outside game. So you had to be strong, you had to be physical. And so the hand checking part made the game even more difficult. They took it out so that the guard could at least get a fresh start.
Derek, I may mention that you had a 30-year career, just an iconic opportunity and performance as an NBA referee. What were some of the most memorable times? And I know there were many, but for you, again, as a young black kid from Atlanta, Georgia, what was the stage, in your opinion, for you in your career as a referee?
I think once you get into refereeing, once you get into the program, it's just like everything else. Your first goal is to be a crew chief, where you're a leader on the crew, and then you want to get to the playoffs. The playoffs is the next big thing that you want to do, because once you reach the playoffs, everybody sees you working. You get a little more respect from the players. You get a little more respect from the teams, the coaches, the owners, because now they know that you're one of the top 30, if not one of the top 20 in the league. So that's your initial goal, just to go out there and work hard. So even though we work as a team, let's not be deceived. Everybody has their own individual goals and things that they're trying to achieve. And that can sometimes cause a little bit of conflict in games, because some guys take it a little too far. They become very, very selfish in what they're trying to do and what they're trying to accomplish. So you got to have a balance, like a player. That's why I think sports came in handy. Yeah, I always wanted to be the best player on my team. I always wanted to have a great game. I always wanted to be the one to win the game. But you have to realize you have other teammates. You got to respect the other teammates, and you got to love them and appreciate them when they also play well, when they win the game. And so I think sports helped me in that regard. Even though I had my own goals, I still was pulling for everybody else. I think so. The most memorable moments, of course, could be, get into the playoffs, get into the next round, and then work on your first final. But on an individual basis, the thing that probably sticks out the most in my mind was when Michael Jordan retired and he came back the first time after 2 years being out. I had his first game back in Chicago. I mean, this guy was gone for 2 years. Think about, this is Michael Jordan, and this is his first game back in Chicago after 2 years. I've never seen that much electricity in a building. I've never seen that many cameras, not even for the finals. And then it was in old Chicago Stadium, where the acoustics was just incredible. That was the most iconic moment that I can relate to as a referee in the NBA.
Derek, for somebody that grew up watching the Golden State Warriors and the Sacramento Kings, I thought Arco Arena was the loudest NBA arena I've ever witnessed. But what, in your opinion, is the loudest NBA arena?
Man, when we go back to some of those old buildings, I mean, Arco in Sacramento, especially when they had a good team, man, that place was freaking crazy. You're right. It was definitely, without a doubt, top 5. And like I said, you had old Chicago Stadium. It was crazy in there. Madison Square Garden, which is still old Madison Square Garden, it's loud and crazy in there. The other two places that people probably don't even think about are Portland and Salt Lake City, Utah. Man, those places. And now that they have new arenas, so they're not as bad. But those old buildings, man, you couldn't even hear yourself talk.
Derek Stafford is our guest this morning on the Sportsvisions Morning Show, and Derek is a celebrated former NBA referee, and of course an accomplished athlete in his own right. And Derek, one thing that that's still to my mind every day when I watch a NBA game, or you see the officials, and especially in the NBA, these guys are fit, they're well groomed, and it's almost like it's a certain order. And again, elaborate if you can, because I think. It's hard for me to describe it, but it's just something different about an NBA official from a fitness standpoint, from a mannerism standpoint, the way you guys actually, signal back to the, to the bench or to the table. I mean, it's almost soldieristic. Talk about those disciplines in being a referee.
Well, my first boss, Derek Garrison, he was real specific about the type of people that he wanted to referee. It's kind of like you're a wide receiver, you want a certain type wide receiver. You're a defensive back coach, you want a certain type defensive back. I mean, you'll accept an exception every now and again, but there's a certain mode. And so he had a certain mode for the type of official that he wanted to referee. Number one, you have to be in shape. There's no way you can referee a 48-minute game with a 24-second shot clock without being in shape. So that's the first thing you're going to have to do. And he always talked about your appearance and and what we needed to project to the audience, what we needed to project to TV. He always reminded us that, hey, 5 pounds makes a huge difference on TV. So you got to make sure you watch yourself on TV to know how you're projecting. And I think the greatest thing that they put in was weight. So every year you had to go to, first of all, you weren't going to be accepted into the program if you didn't have a certain look. Let's just face it.
Right.
Number two, you had to maintain a certain weight. And every year when you went to camp, you were weighed in. And it could be a positive, it could be a negative. You know, you have a bad summer or you kind of get a little lazy and you go to camp the year before you weighed 185. Now you go in, you weigh 192. So you've already put a bad image in the minds of the people that's evaluating you because they felt like you were lazy over the summer, unless they knew about the fact that you had an injury of some type. So these are the things that we have to go through. And then the league provides our first physical. So they do all the blood work. They do everything to check to make sure you're okay, make sure you're in decent shape, make sure your body's working properly. At that point, there are no excuses once you get on that scale. So yes, they have a certain mindset. They have a certain type person that they want. And so these are the people that you're competing with all over the country.
Derek, when I was a kid, I watched a movie with Billy Crystal in it where he was an NBA referee, and he made it look cool. I thought, man, this would be cool to be an NBA referee. What advice would you give to somebody who wants to be an NBA referee? Do you go up the ranks like a high school, college, and then eventually do you start like at the G League? I mean, when you're developing NBA referees, do you just go right into being an NBA referee, or is there like tier systems to try to get there?
Oh, it's changed a lot since I was into the program. So now it's very specific. You can go online, you can apply. They'll send somebody to see you work. It doesn't matter what level you start at, as long as you start. My suggestion would be go to a camp somewhere so that you can get the basics, just like you would do in a sport. At that point, they can look at you just like I can look at somebody, and you can determine whether you think they have the potential. You still won't know till you put them out there. It's one thing to referee a high school game, even though I worked some very, very tough high school games. It's one thing to ref a high school game in front of, 600, 700, maybe 1,000 people, as opposed to 19,000 with cameras everywhere. You're being criticized now, especially now with social media, everything that's going on. So you also have to have a certain mindset. So it takes a certain amount of time for them to believe that you had a mindset and you have the ability to take the criticism that you're going to receive, because no matter how good you are, teams are going to like you when they win and they're going to dislike you when they lose. I spent 3 years working with Minnesota as an advisor, and a lot of it came down to them into who they liked and didn't like, who they won with, because they kept those stats. They're like, yeah, man, but we won with this guy 5 times. And I said, well, man, he's not a top 30 official, but I mean, okay, so you like him because you won with him. Okay, fine. So I realized all those things when I had opportunity to work with these guys. But from our perspective, you try to get plays right. And that's what I used to tell guys all the time. Hey, man, I don't have any say-so in the rules. I can't determine how we play the game. I'm told what to do, and all I do is try to implement what I've been told. And once you can learn how to communicate with the players, you get along a whole lot better. Some guys, they take the authoritarian approach. I'm the king. I'm always right. And I learned, hey, I played ball, and I know I missed shots. I struck out. And I know umpires miss plays, referees miss calls. So maybe I did miss the play. And I would tell guys, look, I'm going to go back and look at the play. So before we walk off this court, you might want to come to me and get it right, because if I go look at the tape and know that you're a liar, then I'm never going to trust you again. So what do you want? You want me to trust you where I can talk to you, or you want me to ignore you because I know you're a liar? And, players, they respect that.
Yeah.
Like, hey, Barry's going to go back and look at the tape, and he know I'm just showboating because I missed the call, I missed the shot, and the fan booing. So, okay, cool, I got it. Let's keep it real between me and you.
Derek, like most athletes and officials, referees, professionals, they all have to at one day, they have to take off their uniform and hang it up and move on. You have found a pastime. Obviously, you're an avid golfer. But I also found out that you have doing something with TGL, and I help us understand what is that, and explain that to the Sports Visions Nation.
Hey man, I like I said, I got to thank God again. I've been extremely blessed. The 3 years I spent in Minnesota was definitely a blessing. And then I'm sitting at home one day, and a guy that used to work for the PGA, and see, you never know. I tell people all the time. I met this guy a few years ago, and then I saw an article where he had got released. And so I picked up the phone, called him, and just said, "Hey man, hope everything's going well. Anything I could do, let me know." We weren't very good friends. I just met him through another guy, but for some reason, something told me to reach out to him at that time. So fast forward to 3 years ago, he calls me up and tells me about this indoor golf league, and they're looking for some officials. And my first response was, hell no, man, I am not, because I know a little bit about golf. I am not about to start studying golf rules like I had to do for the NBA. I didn't retire to do this. I mean, I love golf. It sounds fun, but no, that's just too much. I'm not studying. So he said, it's really not going to be like that. It's going to be indoors. It's going to be regulated. And so just can you agree just to come down and take a look? And I said, okay, man, I'll come down and take a look. Going to Orlando. At the time, they had a studio set up in Orlando. Sound like it might be fun. Go spend a day in Orlando. So I go. He picked me up and get to the studio. And I see the guys hitting balls in the simulator. And the simulator there was small, but it was a lot larger than most simulators that you see around town. So I was kind of intrigued. And then they had this green, huge green, where they could putt and chip balls to, had real grass, real sand. I'm like, oh man, this looks interesting. So talked to a couple of people. They told me what they were trying to do. They had the teams lined up, and then when they told me the owners, I was like, man, this might be something special. So just had conversations with everybody, and I left. So he called me back and said, hey man, what'd you think? I said, it was interesting. It was nice. He said, well, they want you to come back down for another interview. Are you interested? I said, sure. Because like I said, it was just fun just being in there. So this time I go back, I get a golf club, and I can chip some balls while I'm in there, walk around doing nothing. And so Mike McCarley comes in, who had been a VP at the Golf Channel, and now who's the CEO of the PGL. And we're just talking, regular conversation, talking sports, talking life, and I leave. And then a couple guys called me on the phone. We have a nice conversation. And they said, hey, man, we're looking at putting a contract together for you. Are you interested? And then once they explained that, yeah, that would be a certain amount of rules that I would have to know and enforce on the actual surface. And it was going to be televised by ESPN and a lot of other people. And they needed somebody that had, a background maybe in sports, and somebody that was serious, because they told me how much gambling was going to be going on. I'm like, wow, this is going to be very, very serious. And we thought about trying to do a celebrity or a comedian or something, but said, Derek, it's just too much money involved. We need somebody with a background, and we need somebody that's going to be serious about this, and somebody that the fans are going to kind of respect, because we need people to bet. We need people to take us seriously. So I told them what I would be interested in working for. They sent me the contract. I signed it. And like I said, it was just a blessing, because they could have asked somebody else to do it. And it just fortunately it worked out for me. And luckily, I had a little bit of background in golf, because I love playing golf. I like golf. So that made it a little bit easier. But you don't necessarily have to have a background in golf to be able to do this. It helps. And I was just completely blessed. And I got an opportunity, to know some of these top golfers in the world. I have an opportunity to talk to them, see them work out in the back, see them hit balls in the cages, come out on the court. I call it the court, come out on the playing surface. And now these guys have finally understood that they can have fun with me. At first, they didn't realize they would just go straight lace. And now I think them playing this team golf and the crowd, and if I see, when I look now, I see all the TGL guys are doing great doing the PGA Tour. Because I think the team aspect, something that some of them have never done, and the pressure of hitting a ball for somebody else other than yourself, I think it really helped their personality, and I think it helped them have a little more confidence and a little more drive. And then the fans screaming and yelling while they're hitting. So now they've learned to even block out distractions and not complain about distractions. So these guys, I'm pulling from, I watch them play, and these are just great guys, man. And what they do is incredible. And the shape they're in, and I've been around great athletes, the shape they're in is also incredible.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, he's an incredible referee still. Derek Stafford. Derek, thank you so much, man. Have a great rest of your day, man.
Thank you. Appreciate you guys, man. Much luck to you. And I know you go Bulldogs, okay?
All right. Thanks, Derek. All right, Derek. Talk to you soon.
This is the Sports Visions Morning Show. Let's do this. Sports Visions 92.1.
Good morning. I'm Michelle Jennings, and here are your morning headlines. Columbus City Council has approved a new 5-year plan that allows the city to continue receiving millions of dollars in federal funding. The plan outlines how Columbus intends to address affordable housing, homelessness, and neighborhood revitalization. Meanwhile, the man charged for the death of 11-year-old Caden Harris appeared in court. That's where a Columbus police detective testified the shooting followed an arranged gun exchange that allegedly turned into a robbery. And in Troup County, a Louisiana man is in custody after reportedly firing shots at a passing vehicle on Interstate 85. This is an active investigation, and charges are still pending. From WRBL News 3, I'm Michelle Jennings.
Good Wednesday morning. We are starting off with clouds and temperatures in the low 70s. Expect plenty of cloud cover this morning with more breaks of sun developing this afternoon and evening as highs reach the upper 80s. A stray shower or thunderstorm is possible this afternoon. Warmer weather returns later this week, and this weekend brings low to mid 90s with scattered afternoon showers and storms once again back in the forecast.
To get the full story, visit sportsvisions921.com and click on the WRBL tab. Sports Visions 92.1.
Hey, it's the Hubster, Gill's Auto Sales, your #1 pre-owned dealer in Georgia and Alabama. We have over 400 vehicles to choose from, like new ones and hard to find ones. Back that up with a free 30-month, 30,000-mile warranty and great financing in 6 locations. And you got the one dealership that everybody in the Valley loves, Gill's Auto Sales, celebrating 40 years. And you can always find the Hubster at Gill's on Highway 80 in good old Phoenix City, Alabama.
Stop! Listen to this urgent message from 1-800-NEW-RATE. Don't pawn that title until you talk to 1-800-NEW-RATE first. If you need cash and have a free and clear title to your vehicle, don't pawn it before you call 1-800-899-6669. We offer monthly payments and also report to the credit bureau to help you build your great credit. With each payment paid, your balance will reduce until it's paid off. So if you have a free and clear title to your vehicle, call 1-800-NEW-RATE first to discuss your options. Don't pawn that title. Let us show you what a 1-800-NEW-RATE deal has to offer you. Just call 1-800-899-6669 to discuss your options. Don't wait. Call us today and let us show you how we can lower your payments and help your credit at the same time. Call now. 1-800-NEW-RATE at 1-800-899-6669. 1-800-899-6669. Call right now. Motors Acceptance Corporation, doing business as 1-800-NEW-RATE. Georgia Installment Lender License. NMLS number 1943997.
You're listening to the Sports Visions Morning Show, brought to you by Global Diagnostic Services and the Finley Firm. Now back to DJ and Rip on Sports Visions 92.1. You're listening to the Sports Visions.
Welcome back to the Sports Visions Morning Show. DJ Jones and Richie Rich in the building. Big shout out to Garey Ingram, Bridget Gordon, and Tanner Glissom, as well as Derek Stafford. I tell you, man, Derek Stafford, one of the most accomplished NBA officials that I've known in my time, of course, being around. And I've been around a few blocks or so, Richard. But, what I do appreciate about Derek Stafford is that, again, those guys on that level, they have to be like soldiers, if you will. I mean, like I said, it's almost a military type discipline that they have. I mean, obviously they make good money, but obviously at the same time, people, you can't be joking around. You can't think that they're comedians. These guys have to be taken serious because, they it's their decisions on a lot of close calls that decide a lot of these games.
Yeah, you got to have a good head on your shoulders. You got to be somebody that is an authority figure where whatever you say goes, and you got to know that rule book. I mean, you can't have favoritism. It's a tough job. and I have an appreciation for what officials have to go through, and that there's not like having relationships or friendships with people that are like coaches or players and stuff, that you got to keep that separate. It's kind of like fraternization in the military. I see how I brought it back to the military.
That's right.
Yeah, that never goes away.
And I've heard this all the time. I mean, you hear this all the time as a former athlete. And it's like, do you ever wanted to coach? But I very rarely hear anybody say, do you ever wanted to be a referee? Have anybody asked you, have you ever wanted to be a referee or an umpire?
I've never had that question asked to me, but I've never really thought about it. I had a college roommate who was a umpire for minor league baseball.
Yeah.
But if anything, umpire, because I knew baseball, I knew the strike zone. That's probably the one thing that I wouldn't mind doing is umping.
Absolutely. While we're talking basketball, Jalen Sellers is a young man that played at Spencer High School, and he was drafted most recently by the Chicago. Actually, he given a two-way contract, and again, when people say two-way contract, you say, what does that mean? Well, from what I gather, Richard, and if you know more than what I add right now or what I say right now, please add it to it. But a two-way contract is a contract that not only are you the property of an NBA team, but also you also have a G League deal. So you can sign a contract with both of those leagues. And he played in the summer leagues with the Chicago Bulls, and from what I understand, the other day had a really exceptional game. Had over 20 points. And this young man is off and to a great start in his NBA opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. And by the way, the Windy City Bulls is the G League affiliate of the Chicago Bulls. Hopefully he can make that roster. 24 points. He had a great summer league. And even though he was an undrafted free agent, if he puts in the work, he's going to end up making this team and getting suited up in the NBA. It's a long season. You have a lot of injuries. So you do have G League players that come up to the NBA for like 10 days, and then they go back to the G League. I expect Jalen Sellers to be playing in the NBA, but he'll probably be spending the majority of his time in the Windy City Bulls. But yeah, we're so proud of him that he's able to make the most of the opportunity with the Bulls.
And I'd just like to reiterate at this time what I've always said about players that get an opportunity to enter a pro camp or sign a pro contract, whether it be a free agent or whether it be a draft choice. I mean, obviously, getting an NBA opportunity or an NFL opportunity, a Major League Baseball, and those just the three traditional sports. You have to be an impactful player. You have to have made an impression. This is a dream come true. These people could pick anybody in the world out of all of these athletes, and you think about the dozens and dozens, or actually the thousands of high school and college athletes that play on any particular level with regards to football, baseball, basketball. But Sellers has been given an opportunity, and I don't whether he makes it, and we pray and want him to make a roster. But if he doesn't, he has done something that not a whole lot of people have been able to do. And that young man, again, I know he still has a lot of basketball in front of him. But for those folks out there that say, "Oh man, he didn't get drafted," I mean, come on, you don't know what you're talking about. Trust me, because if you did, you wouldn't say that. And you would understand that there's only so many of those opportunities in the world. There are only so many of those teams, NBA teams in the world. There's only so many of those players. And again, just think about the people that did not get the opportunity to get a shot as a free agent, much less a draft choice.
Yeah, he graduated from Spencer. He played back in 2021, played for 3 different colleges, Ball State, Central Florida, and Providence. He finished as the Big East Conference scoring champion at Providence, averaged 19.6 points a game, and he was all Big East second team. So, he put in the work, coming from Spencer and going into the transfer portal and playing at 3 different colleges. And there were optimism about him possibly getting drafted. I mean, he would have been probably a second round pick, but, he didn't get drafted, which I think that could benefit him now that he could play with a little bit of a chip on his shoulder. Obviously, he is talented enough to be drafted, and the Bulls saw something in him and given him a chance, and it is paying off. To score 24 points in the summer league, I know people say, well, the competition in the summer league is not as big as – but he can ball. he's got the skills. And if he's given an opportunity to suit up for the Chicago Bulls this year, he's going to make the most of it.
Even what you just said there, people, whatever people that there are talking about the competition in the summer league, how many people do get an opportunity to get on a roster to play in the summer league? So, Richard, that stuff is, again, you got to be out of your mind. Exactly.
Yeah.
Those are the haters. And you know what? You need those, because I know Jalen will, when he does make it, just like Sam Mitchell, our good friend who had to go the long route. He got drafted in the 3rd round, I believe it was, and ended up not having the opportunity to make the roster, and got to, I think, as close as the final cut, if you will. But he had to go overseas. He had to go to the Continental League. He went to a number of leagues to get to, but he ended up with a 14-year career, right. And also ended up had a wonderful career as a head coach and assistant coach in the NBA. And now, of course, obviously having the opportunity to also have behind him, NBA analyst experience with working with, not only Sirius One, but the NBA Network at one time. So here's a guy, that started with humble beginnings, and he was just, praying that he got an opportunity, got that opportunity, made the best of it. Although, everybody doesn't get to be bonus babies. They don't give tens of millions of dollar contracts around. But all you need is an opportunity. All you need is somebody to leave a crack in the door for you. And if it's for you, it's for you.
Yeah. And I missed that opportunity to call Jalen Sellers' games when he was at Spencer, because back in 2021, I wasn't even doing the broadcasting thing. I've been doing it for about 4 years now. But anytime you get a talent from this area, and when I think of Columbus area, I also think of the Chattahoochee Valley, whether you're playing over at Central, you're playing over at Opelika, or you're a guy like KCP who played at Greenville, which is part of our area, and you make the most of it, and you are beloved, and coming back home, putting in the work, and he knows that coming from Columbus, you really got to look at what Mark Upshaw and Sam Mitchell were able to build, pouring back into this community. And these basketball players that come from this area will never forget that. And that's why I think that Jalen Sellers is going to have a lot of success. He's already successful by getting on the Bulls roster. And, the buzz around this town, they're just excited about him. Like, to put up 24 points, people are talking about it on social media. And that's why we want to give him his flowers. We want to recognize the accomplishments that he is doing in the Summer League.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Also, again, on slate, on the road with Sportsvisions coming up next week, man. We'll be in Tampa, Florida, boots on the ground for the SEC Media Day. And I know that there are media days that have been going on since for the last couple of weeks. We've had AP Stedham on a couple of weeks ago. He's one of these veteran sports guys that he just does the tour. He goes to all the SEC, all the conference media days for football media days, and he has already been to 2 different ones, and now he's getting ready for SEC Media Days, and it'll be the 3rd. And of course, Richard, you have a schedule there of how these things work.
Yeah. So we first of all, we've already had Big 12 Media Day. That was last week. Today is the first day of ACC Media Day. It's also the first day of Sun Belt Media Day and the SWAC Media Day. So the HBCUs will have their media days. The MEAC will be next week. Next week in Tampa, 4 days for the SEC Media Day, and starting on Monday, as the commissioner of the league always takes the podium that first day. The teams that we cover, Georgia and Auburn and Alabama. Georgia and Auburn are going to be on Tuesday. Alabama is going to be on Wednesday. And then we have Texas and LSU on that 4th day. I think they planned it out that way because they want to get Lane Kiffin to the podium. I think everybody in the media wants to see Lane Kiffin take the podium, and hopefully he does not mention Ole Miss. Like, I know there's going to be a reporter that's going to be asking about, what did you think of the success of Ole Miss and Trinidad Chambliss? Because, it's like he talks about Ole Miss a lot. Like, he's happy for them that they won a college football playoff game, but it's kind of like looking back at an ex-girlfriend and she's doing well. She's got a new boyfriend, and you're like, oh, good for her. But you keep mentioning her and keep bringing her up.
I got you. Talking about my SEC Media Day experience, obviously we go back to nearly the beginning. And I can remember, my most, my biggest experience, or the one that what sticks out most, is back when the SEC was hosting the media days in Birmingham, and it just so happens is that this was out in Hoover at a big hotel out there. I can't remember the name of it. It was connected to the mall, but downtown, the SWAC would have their media day. So it was a SWAC, and so it had basically 2 opportunities to cover college, black college football as well as the SEC.
Nice.
And that was I guess that was back at least 10, 12 years ago.
Yeah, and I'm really looking forward to seeing the SWAC media day. Marshall Falk's going to take the podium.
Yeah.
He's the new coach at Southern.
Mm-hmm.
We got great HBCU coaches, not only in the SWAC and in the MEAC. Today, it's going to be fascinating because Miami's taking the podium. You're going to end up seeing Georgia Tech with Brent Key, Bill Belichick for North Carolina, Dabo Sweeney. I know that we put all the focus on SEC Media Day because that's what we're used to. I've been to SEC Media Days, but I like seeing what those other conferences are doing and trying to get their media days up and running. And that's what's great is because all these media days are happening all around at the same time. We are in the mindset of getting focused and getting ready for college football season. I'll tell you what, DJ, I already went to Barnes & Noble and got my book, and I started reading it.
So did I.
Yeah.
So did I. But let me ask you this question. When somebody asks you, Richard, that maybe they're not as accomplished or maybe they're not as newsworthy as we are, when they ask you, what does Media Day mean or what is a Media Days, what do you tell them?
I tell them it is a way not only to network, but it's a way to, whether you're a reporter or you're a broadcaster that is reporting on the school or the SEC in general, it is a way to ask those tough questions about this upcoming season. You want to know what the coach's philosophy is. What's the practice has been like? What is he going to do to prepare for a 9-game conference schedule? What is Georgia going to prepare for? They don't have to go to Jacksonville this year. They're actually going to be playing Florida and Atlanta, talking about some of the non-conference opponents that they may have to face. And also that pressure that the SEC has not won a national championship in 3 years. In fact, Georgia was the last team to win a national championship back in 2022. And so there is pressure on the SEC since the Big Ten has won the last 3 national championships.
Now, you have been around long enough to understand that, the way these things are set up, and you were in Atlanta last year at the SEC Media Days, is that, they have the big breakout room. They have the big session room. They have all these different breakout rooms, and you got, literally hundreds of reporters and media folks from all over the country, not just the Southeast, because the SEC is a national, has a national presence now. But, it's only so many ways to ask the simple questions. I mean, they're not a million different questions that you can ask. I mean, there's only so many ways to say, well, Coach, what do you think your offense is going to be like this year? Or who are going to be your top players? I mean, don't you think that these guys are obviously, get tired of this? I mean, because you got every room, every nook and cranny, somebody's in your face asking you a question.
Yeah, it wasn't SEC Media Day, but remember when Nick Saban got tired of that reporter that kept asking, who's going to be the starting quarterback? Is it going to be Tua or Jalen Hurts? And then he's like, well, quit asking. Oh, man. Well, Alabama's got Keelan Russell and Austin Mack. And I know the first question to Kalen DeBoer is, who's going to be the starting quarterback in Alabama?
Right. But, even at that, I mean, it's still, you got people from, all different conferences representing different schools, different parts of the state, you have different parts of the United States. And again, they're going to ask that question again and again and again. But what my point is that, the coaches, and they pick the 3 players to go and represent the team. So those guys, I mean, you got to make sure that, you are having, you're sending somebody that, first of all, is poised, that's well-spoken, somebody that's even keeled, somebody that will represent the university in the proper way.
Yeah, and I actually got the list of the players that Coach DeBoer is bringing to Media Day. Xavier Brown, defensive back, Bray Hubbard, also defensive back, and Ryan Coleman Williams. Used to be Ryan Williams. He's changed his name to Ryan Coleman Williams, but he's actually a junior coming up. So no quarterback. Alabama's not bringing a quarterback to SEC Media Day. Interesting.
Well, one thing about it is that you got that. Now that you got that out, did you pull out who Auburn and Georgia will have on their first day?
So Alex Golish is bringing Champ Anthony, defensive back, Byron Brown, the quarterback that transferred from South Florida, and then Alex McPherson, a kicker, is part of SEC Media Days. Georgia, Drew Bobo, the offensive lineman. Gunnar Stockton, he was part of Media Day last year, and Raylan Wilson, linebacker.
Good deal. Drew Bobo is, the son of Coach
Mike Bobo.
Yeah, Mike Bobo. And again, he's, very well thought of and getting one of the top players on the team, one of the leaders, and looking forward to that. Tell you what we'll do. Let's go ahead and take our final break, and we'll be back with, of course, the final segment of the Sportsvisions Morning Show. You're watching Facebook Live as well as YouTube, and you're listening to WLTC HD2 Sportsvision 921. This is the Sportsvisions Morning Show.
You're listening to the Sportsvisions Morning Show. Sportsvisions 92.1.
Golden Donut, a family-owned bakery, has been serving freshly made donuts, pastries, and breakfast favorites since their doors first opened. The aroma of their made-from-scratch treats and freshly brewed coffee creates the perfect warm, inviting atmosphere. Golden Donut, where every bite is a taste of homemade happiness.
Listen, were you forced into getting a solar contract and now you just don't want it anymore? Maybe the solar company misled you. Or is your solar contract buried with hidden fees? Are you not saving the amount of money you thought you would on your energy costs? Don't worry. At the Solar Exit Hotline, we can help you cancel your solar contract, even if the panels are already installed. Our experienced legal team will review your contract and help you cancel it, possibly saving you thousands of dollars. You got to call right now for complete details. So listen, if you're not happy with your solar contract for any reason, we are here to help you cancel it. Call the Solar Exit Hotline now for immediate options to help you exit your solar contract. This call is 100% free.
800-908-7197. 800-908-7197. 800-908-7197. That's 800-908-7197.
Well, it's official. My friends have all switched to Pure Talk because I told them they could save a bunch of money on a super reliable high-speed network with unlimited data. And because they're my friends, they trust me. As for the rest of you, well, Pure Talk understands that even though you might like me, you're not just going to take my word for it, nor should you. For that reason, and for a very limited time, Pure Talk is offering any of their plans for just $15 a month for the first 3 months, including their top-tier unlimited plan that normally sells for $65 a month. Think of it like a test drive, a super simple way to save $150 while you kick the tires on Pure Talk's blazing fast network, and a fine way to see for yourself why I switched from big wireless, along with a few 100,000 of my closest friends. Dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and be connected to Pure Talk's friendly U.S. customer service team. Again, dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and let the savings begin.
And Doug. Limu and I created a trick to help you remember that you can customize your car insurance and save with Liberty Mutual. You see, the shirts Limu and I wear are yellow, and yellow is the color of lemons, and lemons grow on trees, and trees provide oxygen, and oxygen helps us breathe, and breathing is how you live, and you can live more life when you save money by customizing your car insurance. I agree, Limu. It's really quite simple. Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty. Catch the Paul Feinbaum Show, 3 to 7 on Sports Visions 92.1. Now back to the Sports Visions Morning Show. Here's 3-time Georgia Bulldog SEC champion and 1980 national champion DJ Jones and Thrift Behringer. Catch the Paul Feinbaum.
Closing time. Open all the doors and
Welcome back to the final segment of the Sports Visions Morning Show. DJ Jones and Richard Holdridge. Rich, has been a great show. I tell you what, I really enjoyed it, but I gotta give another round of applause, if we can, to the Columbus Lions for the tremendous 2026 AAL championship game that they were able to win up in Wheelings, West Virginia. That, of course, again, it was just everything about it. And as we get an opportunity to go on social media and look at all the pictures and look at all the clips and go on the broadcast and see the celebration. And now we're seeing all the folks that are taking the opportunities to take pictures with the championship trophy, all the awards and accolades that are given to the MVP, the best offensive player, the MVP on defense, coach of the year, executive of the year. Man, this was one hell of a season. And I tell you what, the celebration that's going to happen on Saturday is gonna be really, really powerful.
Yeah, we're going to have a celebration on Saturday. It's going to be a great feeling. I'm excited. I cannot wait. And it's a parade that's going to be in downtown Columbus. Look, we've had celebrations before. We've had block parties. But I mean, you're very familiar with these parades. How does it turn out? You've had what for the Cottonmouths? You've had them for Shaw baseball team. Did the Northern Little League team? Did they have a parade when they won the Little League World Series?
I was not that I knew of. I wasn't responsible. I'm just talking about when we were talking. This is what Sports Vision has done over the years, and that was when the Cottonmouths won, and then back in the day, and I guess the late 90s, and of course the Carver football team in 2007, and then of course the basketball team, both girls and boys in 2019, 18 and 19. And most recently, but again, if to do the parade as we did it, obviously, basically, if you remember where Country's Barbecue is down on Broadway, on that end of on the other side of 13th Street, that will be pretty much the start of the parade. And again, you have to go through a procedure if you're going to do a full blown parade where you do start on one end of the town and you go through downtown. You end up turning left on 9th Street in front of the Government Center, going down, of course, Veterans Parkway and across into the Civic Center. Now, that's a big deal. That's a long deal. But again, there's others that we've done with the short, just Broadway. You do Broadway, and then of course you start on that same end and you go all the way to the end and you end it, and you end up gathering like the Columbus Lions are going to be doing. They're going to be gathering at one of the sports bars or restaurants down there on Broadway for their celebration afterwards. But there's a couple of ways to do it. I mean, in both ways, you have to get permission from the city because, again, obviously, law enforcement needs to be involved because there have to be blockages of the arteries into Broadway and all the way along your parade path. And, of course, motorcycle cops, I remember, of course, having as many as 17, 18 motorcycle cops being on duty because you have to make sure that you secure the arteries so that people can't come out and run in and traffic can't cross up the parade. But I tell you, it's a unified effort. These guys, they know how to of course, when we were doing it, they were unified. They were coordinated. And because you had to not only, talk about how are you going to start this thing, but also at the end. Can you imagine crossing over 280 down at Veterans Parkway where 280 is that going across into the Civic Center? Yeah. We had to have a blockage. I mean, that was a big deal. And that's what we did with Carver in 2007. And of course, in the basketball teams in 18 and 19. But when we did the Shaw deal, we did more when Coach Flowers when we did that one back in 2001. We stayed right there in town, and we ended up doing the Broadway deal and circling back. And there was a courtyard very close to where the Columbus Lions are going to be doing theirs. There, right behind the bars. There it is an open courtyard. A lot of people don't even know because they don't even use that courtyard anymore. But yeah, that you got to have a plan. You got to know what you're doing, and you definitely got to get permission from the city.
Yeah, definitely got to have a plan. And so some thought was put into this, and they're going to do it big. I love the fact that the Columbus Lions are doing it big and having a parade right there in downtown Columbus, and can't wait to be a part of it. And I might even bring my kids.
You should bring them.
I should. I should, DJ.
Absolutely.
I'm a guy that's optimistic about just trying to see what our plans are. But yeah, I do plan on supporting the Columbus Lions and being at the parade.
The entire family, I would encourage you all, if you're here, and of course, this is something special and something different. It doesn't happen all the time. There are not a lot of parades. Obviously, again, holidays, they are, but a championship parades for your sports team that represent this city. I would encourage each and everybody. And as a matter of fact, as we say, tell a friend to make sure that everybody knows exactly what time the parade starts and where the starting point will be on Broadway. And again, so that there will be no doubt about it. Everybody and anybody that deserves to be and want to be the part of that celebration should do so.
Parade will start at 11 o'clock and it will go down Broadway, and then it will snake around. It's basically going to be like a racetrack type, and they're going to stop over at the pizza place there on Broadway. And that's where they're going to finish.
All right. Hey, Richard, it's been a great, great day. We've enjoyed having Derek Stafford, former NBA official, Tanner Glisson, the head ball coach for the baseball team and the football team up at Troup County, Bridget Gordon, the head women's basketball coach of Florida A&M, the Rattlers, Garey Ingram, our insider. He's a Chattahoochee Valley Sports Hall of Famer, a former Los Angeles Dodger, and a longtime hitting instructor in the minor leagues. You hear the music, you know what that means. That means that obviously the Wednesday show of the Sportsvisions Morning Show is in the books. On behalf of Richard Holdridge, I'm DJ Jones, reminding you to keep your eye on the ball.
You've been listening to the Sportsvisions Morning Show with DJ Jones and Thrift Barringer. Brought to you by Global Diagnostic Services and the Finley Firm. This is Sportsvisions 92.1.
I don't know I got the one. Turn me out of my mind. You don't need no other body. You don't need no other body. Only you feel on my body.
Attorney advertised. Blake Swan, 4751 Best Road, College Park, Atlanta, Georgia. 921-200-7066. Paid actor dramatization. Top Dog.